Hey nerds, we are going to do a review and breakdown of Daredevil Born Again episode 8 starting now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. So the title of episode 8 is Isle of Joy. It is written by Jesse Wigutow and Dario Scardapane, and it's directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who directed the first episode of Daredevil Born Again. The spoiler-free logline of this episode is at his inaugural black and white ball, Mayor Fisk tightens his grip on New York City. My spoiler-free thoughts on this episode is, wow, probably the best one yet since episode 1. Hopefully they stick the landing for the last episode of season 1 next week. Season 2 is already in production, so most likely season 2 is actually going to come out next year. The character dynamics were an edge of your seat experience for a couple of moments in this episode. Finally, a villain worth hating on Disney Plus, probably the best since John Walker, aka Discount Captain America. Muse honestly did not have that type of appeal to me personally, but we'll get to who this villain is very soon. Art imitating life. However, this was shot about a year ago, where a lot of the politics that you see in this series is very reminiscent to what's happening right now in our political world. So we'll dive into that a little bit. And finally, there's some signs of resistance to the mayor, and we will get to that part as well. In terms of rating, I would give this episode a 9 out of 10, which is to us a movie marathon. There's a great antagonist that we will talk about, compelling storyline, shocking twists, and also a cliffhanger ending that really wraps it all up for this episode. So those are my spoiler-free thoughts. If you'd like to hear more about Daredevil and other content we put out there, please like, share, and subscribe for more. We really appreciate your support on all of our social media platforms. So without further ado, spoilers ahead for Daredevil Born Again, episode 8. We're going to start off with the last part of episode 7, which Nathan did cover, and Nathan is away, so that's why I'm covering episode 8 here. This was, to me, a very dark and cold-hearted scene, but nothing new from Wilson Fisk, of course. Luca was one of the gangsters that had a very antagonistic relationship with Mayor Fisk and also with Vanessa. Vanessa told Luca that he would be at the restaurant here, and Luca got shot by one of the mayor's acolytes. He's just saying very matter-of-factly, just bring Vanessa a piece of soul on the way out. That's how episode 7 ended. We then get to the part where Bullseye returns in this episode, and he goes to general population. Now, we don't know what the dynamics of why he goes to general population. People might kill him because of what he did and the crimes that he's done so far. We have a speculation that it might be Fisk behind the scenes doing all of that because he is mayor. Another shocking twist that presents itself where Vanessa finds out about Adam. Fisk was at first very coy and non-transparent about bringing Vanessa into this dungeon that he has, and subsequently shoots Adam once in the head and once in the chest. So that was pretty brutal, the fact that Vanessa is really staying loyal to Wilson Fisk. And you can definitely see that later on, there's going to be some more things in their twisted, sordid relationship. Now, I mentioned in the past reviews that Vanessa really reminded me of Melania Trump, with that distance, that type of coldness that you don't really get to see. But at the end of the day, she's very loyal to her husband, just so much like Melania is very loyal to President Trump. We then see that Matt finds out about Heather doing therapy with Fisk and Vanessa. So they are trying to reconcile all of the drama that had happened in the previous episode where Heather almost died at the hands of Muse and Daredevil basically rescued her. But she does not really know that he's Daredevil just yet. And at the same time, he is very coy about what he has been doing. He's been going out and been very distant. So what triggered all of this was that she received an invitation from the mayor's right-hand man to the black and white ball, which dominates this whole episode. We find out that Daniel Blake is going up in the world where he is now promoted to deputy mayor of communications. So he was very loyal, very incompetent, through what he has done. But because of his loyalty, the mayor has really taking him under his wing and also making sure that he has a second chance. Now, this is what I was saying in the spoiler-free part where art really imitates life, because we see in the current administration that there's a lot of Daniel Blake's in the administration, and it seems as though he is a much tamer individual than some of the cabinet members that the president has. We then find out through Josie's Matt's able to figure out some connection as to why Foggy was murdered, because he found out that Foggy was going to win his case. However, it seems as though Matt is not able to put all the pieces together just yet, but he's almost there to try to figure out what the connection is between Foggy's murder with Bullseye and potentially with Mayor Fisk. Matt goes to prison to find the truth about Foggy through Bullseye. And of course, Bullseye really is resistant to talking to him because he put him in jail. And there's a lot of these vibes of The Dark Knight, with Bullseye playing the Joker role and Matt playing the Batman role here. This dynamic was really well done, but also the fact that you have a dramatic effect between these two mortal enemies. And there's a lot of tension that you can see through the room. And also was well done from the first episode where you saw that tension going on, and it's carried over because you get the sense that Bullseye is going to get away with this somehow, but we just don't know how. We see an interaction at the black and white ball between Daniel and BB. We know that they have this working relationship going on between the two. It's more like a quid pro quo. And we also found out in previous episodes that BB wrote a very favorable article about the mayor's vigilante task force to get inside access. However, BB, we find out after this scene that she was able to talk to the commissioner and get him to be an anonymous source in regards to the vigilante task force that Mayor Fisk has put together. And we also see a very brutal scene of the vigilante task force intimidating a person and burning the hand of an individual with the air fryer. So that was Officer Powell, which you saw in the first couple of episodes. He's on the shady side of the equation. We then see the mayor and the first lady come out, and we saw scenes of which he's getting what he wants from people. He's trying to intimidate other people like the swordsman to try to get him to bend the knee for his project. Also, other people that are in the 1%, influential people trying to bend the knee for Mayor Fisk, very much like what's happening right now in the current administration, where Trump is trying to have others bend the knee to his demands and his wishes. Bullseye then escapes prison, and there's a pretty brutal scene. This is actually straight out of the comic books, where he does escape prison and he has an eye right at Mayor Fisk, probably because he put him in gen population and he didn't really like that at all. At this point, we probably know that he's trying to target Daredevil. There's this very beautiful scene between Heather and Matt, and also Vanessa and Mayor Fisk, with them switching partners. He's trying to put the pieces together, and he knows at this point that Vanessa had Foggy killed. And she doesn't really know what to say because of it. She is trying to get the mayor into a private conversation, trying to get him out of there at this point. But suddenly what happened, there was an assassination attempt as Bullseye was above head, and Matt senses that, got in front of Mayor Fisk and got shot while he is incapacitated. Heather is extremely shocked, and you see the camera twisting, and he's basically bleeding out. And that's how the episode really ended, with this huge cliffhanger. Now, of course, we know that he survived, but it's still pretty awesome where they left it, and that there's a lot of unanswered questions as to why Bullseye did that, why the mayor, and why did Matt do this as well? This is sworn enemy. And so maybe he's thinking what Michael Corleone is thinking about: you got to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Who knows what they're trying to pull here? But it was a very satisfying cliffhanger that happened, and I'm also looking forward to what's going to transpire in episode 9. So those are my thoughts on episode 8. We would like to hear what you have to say by commenting down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And we will see you next video. All right. Take care, everybody.